What time is it? Podcast time. It's a celebration. What time is it? Podcast time. Hello and welcome to the It's Your Effin' Journey podcast. My name is Melissa Hemming, and if a life coach and a therapist had a baby, you would get me. I'm so excited today to bring you the recap of the New York City Half Marathon that I ran last Sunday. And some other exciting announcements in the ad section. What time is it? Ads time. No, it's not really. It's really podcast time. So without further ado, here's the episode. Enjoy. So link in the show notes to get started for life coaching. And yeah, that's it. So let's jump into this fucking race. Okay. So first of all, the New York City United Half is a lottery race. I don't know if there's a component of qualifying. There might also be another way to get in if you do a certain amount of New York races. I know they do that for the marathon. So I don't know about that. You're gonna have to look that up. What I do know is that what I applied to was the lottery, and I was accepted through the lottery. And there's also a fundraising option. So if you don't get into the lottery, you can fundraise for a cause and join the race. I knew that was a thing. I didn't really understand until I got there what this meant, and we'll get there together. So the race was March 16th yesterday, and I found out in November that I was running it. Not to say that I wasn't excited that I got in, but I was a little bit disappointed. Like, there were some people, some friends who I had registered with or signed up in the lottery with, and I was the only one who got accepted. Of course, I had various 169 friends who were also accepted, so that was cool too. But got accepted and really didn't think much of it. Luckily, I have a friend on Instagram, Emily, and she sort of kept me in line because she's like, do you want to stay together? We decided to stay together. We booked a room on the app Hotel Tonight, and it was a great deal on a room. I think it was like $200, maybe a little bit more, which is a great rate for the city. And it was at the 50 Sonesta in Manhattan, right on 50th Street. So right where we wanted to be. The race starts at Prospect Park in Brooklyn, and it ends in Central Park. It goes through Times Square. Times Square is only closed 2 times a year. One New Year's Eve and second at this fucking race. So it is awesome. So, okay, so we got the room a couple months ago, and then it was sort of like, we'll figure out our shit when we get there. We'll go to the expo on Saturday, go to the race on Sunday. I am typically not the person who looks at details for races. I sort of deal with it when I get there. And this was no different. I went in with the assumption that it would be just as dramatic and, I don't want to say problematic, but like just a lot of like logistics. The New York City Marathon, there are a lot of logistics. Like getting there, you have to get to Staten Island, which can be, difficult if you're not on a charity bus. So I just expected a lot of drama. And I'm here for it. Like, I like big races. So I was like, all right, if this is half of what New York City Marathon is, I'm here for it. So now, about a month ago, my friend Laura called me up and said, hey, I won a 2-night trip to Vegas. Do you want to go? And I'm like, okay, when? And it was the 12th through the 14th. And I said, and the flights were free from JFK. So I said, perfect. I'll drive down Wednesday morning, park in a little lot next to JFK, fly to Vegas. We were taking the red eye from Vegas to New York Friday night into Saturday morning, which is when I was going down to New York anyways for the expo. Get my car, drive to a train station, take the train into Grand Central, go to my hotel, go to the expo, do the race the next day. Easy peasy. Easy peasy for a fucking 21-year-old. But anyway, so I decide to do this, and the plan is set. So Laura and I head to Vegas on the 12th, and the 12th was totally a normal day. We not a normal day by any means, but not a partying like you're like it's 1999 day. We our flight landed. We got a car. We rented a car and we drove to the Valley of Fire, which was unreal. We took a little hike there, and then went into Vegas later on that day. Thursday, we 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 did Vegas right, I think, if you are talking about partying and just making bad decisions. So that was Thursday. And now we drank a shit ton. We did not prioritize eating. This was no way to act before a race of any kind. And like if I was running a marathon, there's no fucking way. No effing way. Sleeping was off, eating was off, fueling was off, hydration was off, like everything was off. So Friday, the day of our flight, woke up just feeling like shit. And this was our last day in Vegas. We had a bunch of alcohol still to drink, so we drank it all like champs and got on our red eye. At 10:30 was our red eye, and I slept most of the time. Like my watch said that I slept 4 hours, which isn't bad, but you're sleeping like like a weirdo, and it's just not great sleep. So I was a zombie on Saturday when we landed. Like I didn't know. I am like, I don't think you guys get how dramatic my brain is. Like, I go to, and I think my kids probably know, they always tell me how dramatic I am, but my brain internally is like, it's crazy. So I'm telling myself, like, there's no way you're ever going to not be tired. There's no way you're ever going to warm up. You know, when you're so tired that you're like freezing, and it was so cold in New York, and I didn't bring a jacket. So, and I just was so tired. So I get my car and I just want to sleep. So I find like a random street and I lock my doors and I just go to sleep for a little while. And then I finally go to the train. I find the train. I take it to Grand Central. I am so tired still. And I just keep saying, like, I don't know how I'm going to make it through this day. I don't know how I'm going to make it through this race. I have no idea what is happening in my body right now. It just like wanted to shut down. So luckily I got an early check-in and I checked into the hotel, I think at like 11:45. I told my friend Emily, who was meeting me, I'm like, I'm going to crash for a little while and then I'll be hopefully a human enough to go to the expo with you. So, I got there, took a shower, like that helped a little bit, brushed my teeth because we were out of our hotel Friday at like noon. So we stayed, we were in Vegas all day Friday and then took that red eye. So I just felt gross. So I, took a shower, rested for a little bit. She came, I chatted, we took a nap, I took a nap, and then we headed to the expo. I was still freezing. I was still like foggy headed. I was still like just exhausted. I was like, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. So we get through the expo. Expo was really fun. They had a lot of photo ops, not too long of lines. I was surprised Gooder wasn't there. And they may have been, I just didn't see them. The gear was okay. I'm not really one for like grabbing stuff at the expo. I get the shirt, with registration, and that was enough for me. What time is it? Ad time. It's a celebration. What time is it? Ad time. But this one's for my own shit. My own shit. I wanted to come on here and share really quick, just to remind you guys that I have subscription exclusive content available now on the It's Your Effin' Journey podcast. We always have the Monday episode that is free and for everyone. And on Thursdays, twice a month, I break down either specific things that I'm working with clients on in therapy in real time and or concepts from the episode on Monday where I do a deeper dive into the mental health piece or how I would work with someone who had those sort of issues, or just anything that I feel like I want to give you guys more meat on, right? Sometimes in the interviews, I love having the interviews so much, but there's certain concepts that I want to like hone in on and really give you guys like tactical ways to use that information in your own lives. And that's the way that I do that. So support the podcast. $10 a month. You get 2 bonus episodes. The subscription content comes out Thursdays. And as I said, it's 2 times a month. And I'm really excited to bring it to you and really do a deeper dive, sort of like I used to do back in the beginning of the podcast days, if you've been around a while. I appreciate you so much. I thank you for being here. Support the podcast, $10 a month. Mwah! Love you guys. Let's go back to the show. Emily had been up to date on how to get here and there and everywhere. She is on all the message boards, so are all the Facebook groups of the New York City half. So I was really grateful she had all the information and really knew exactly what we needed to do. So we went to the expo. And then at this point, I was starving. I don't think I had eaten much that day, and certainly didn't the day. Well, we ate a little bit the day before. It was just not a lot. It was not a way to treat your body. Like if you said to me, like, "Are you being nice to your body?" The answer is no. I was not nice to my body at all leading up to this race, or in general, like in life. So we walked to a delicious Italian restaurant. I had mushroom risotto. She had some delicious spaghetti dish, and that helped me get back to normal. We went back to the hotel room, and I crashed. I slept from 6 p.m. Now, the cool part is that I said to her, "When do we have to leave for the race?" I was assuming really fucking early. The New York City Marathon, you had to get the bus at like 4:30 to Staten Island. You had to wait for 6 hours to run. So I just assumed we're gonna have to be up like Disney running times, like 3 in the morning. No, our wave wasn't supposed to start until 9:20 a.m. And even though the race itself was starting at 7:15ish, I think, we didn't have to be at through security until 8:10. So this was really cool. So there was a couple different ways to get to Brooklyn. Okay, so we go back. So I'm flip-flopping. So I went to sleep from 6:10 to 5 a.m., which is when I usually wake up, like on a weekday. So that was great. I got 11 hours of sleep, and I finally felt like myself Sunday morning. So I was back in action, better than fucking ever. We went to McDonald's. So we got up, went to McDonald's, which was right around the corner. Came back to our hotel. We still had some time to kill. We were able to watch the elite runners start their journey on the race course while we got ready, waited for our Uber. So there's a couple different ways to go to the park. It starts at Prospect Park in Brooklyn. And there's buses that you can like sort of buy a ticket on. I think charities take you on buses too. You can take the subway, which I don't mess with the subway because I would end up in probably California. And you could take an Uber. We opted for the Uber. It was like a $60 ride, $60 for like 30-minute ride to Brooklyn. Obviously we split it, and I would highly recommend that. There was so easy. I booked it a little bit ahead of time. I reserved it probably when we woke up, just because I was a little scared for follow through, but it was no problem. He was outside minutes before he was supposed to, and we got to Brooklyn. No, okay, so this was so cool. So we're in our Uber, and we are passing we're going parallel past the race course. So we got to see some of the wheelchair athletes. We got to see the elite women, the elite men running, and we got to Prospect Park. It was so foggy. Now, it was freezing in New York the day before. Again, I said I didn't think I would ever warm up. Dressing was an issue. It was like gonna be like 50 at race time, which is fucking warm. But I just, like, in my brain, I could not ever think of being warm enough. So I wore leggings. I opted on capri length leggings because those are the ones that had pockets, and I wanted to hold my portable charger just in case my phone died, and nerd clusters, of course, because that's the fuel of choice these days. So I So I did that, and I really wanted to wear, I bought a tank top on Etsy that said "fuck the patriarchy." It was pink, and I wanted to wear that. But in my mind that morning, I was like, I'm never taking this top shirt off. I'm so fucking cold. So it was just so cold to stand around, but I knew when I was running, it would be great. Like, that's like the worst part of being a runner sometimes. It's like, I know this is perfect running weather, but I have to stand around for so long right now that I don't want to. I should have, woulda, coulda, shoulda. I should have gotten myself a bathrobe from Goodwill, and I would have been a happy little camper. Instead, I wore my Colchester half long sleeve. So that was a little confusing to me. I don't usually do that. I was also really sad. I didn't have my name on my body. I didn't have a tutu. I had no glitter. I was very underprepared for my sparkle vibes. But so that's what I wore. And I was never gonna get rid of the Colchester shirt. I fucking paid for that shirt. So I was just gonna tie it when and if I needed to. But I really was like, no way. Saturday was so funny. In my dramatic little brain, I was like, I'm wearing a sweatshirt tomorrow. I'm wearing a hoodie on the course. And I kept saying to myself, like, Melissa, that is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Like, nobody does that. You'll be the only runner in a hooded sweatshirt. But that was my mentality. I was like, I'm never gonna warm up again, so this is the only option. I thank God I didn't do that. It was so humid. I would have been miserable. So anyways, I'm wearing the long sleeve hoodie, capris, freezing my little ass off. We go to, so cool. So we get out at the park, and the park that we were at, it was actually the race course. So we were walking through the race course, and we were able to cheer some of the runners on while we went to the race course. We were in wave 5, corral E, I think it was. And our corral was not going to be open until 9. So we got there at 8:10. Security is a long ass line. Like, we had to take our watches off, take all our shit out of our pockets. My friend Emily wore like a hydration thing. She had to take that off. We were probably in line maybe 20 minutes, I would say. We got through security. And then we were able to go to our corrals. Well, no, we couldn't go to our corrals yet. Then we opened up to tons of porta potties. We opted to go to the porta potties closer to the corrals, and that ended up being a good decision. I pooped once in the hotel room. I pooped once in the porta potties at the race start. So I was glad about that. And I remembered to drop them in my poop app. So if you are on the poop app, friend me, because I don't know. I got a really cool award for pooping in Vegas because it was so many feet above sea level. I think it was called the Highlander Award. I'm so proud of myself. So, okay, so we get into there and we have to wait. We run into some 169 friends and good energy. Like, the people are hanging out of their apartment buildings, cheering us on. And our wave opens to our corral at 9 o'clock. And then, as I said, we started at 9:20. So it was very crowded. Like, I could not believe how crowded it was. And I mean, like, I remember the Boston Marathon is very crowded to begin with, too. It felt like that, but it almost, like, I didn't think it would ever let up. It was, I compared it on Instagram stories yesterday to a Disney race. There was not a lot of race etiquette in terms of, there was tons of walkers. I 100% support walkers. Any speed that you're moving is moving, and I applaud you. However, there are etiquette rules when it comes to being a walker on a race course. And that includes, when you're gonna stop and walk, you raise your hand to indicate that you're going to walk. Otherwise, someone might literally fucking fall over you. And you should do it on a side of the road. I mean, some races have an indicated side, but definitely on the side so that people are not falling into you. And also, like, if you're in a group of people, like, don't be like walking like across the whole fucking race course. It was maddening. So it was so funny. We were probably like within the first mile, so I'm taking videos and whatever. And I heard this guy behind me, like, everyone, I heard him like before I started taking a video, and he was like, everyone's slowing us down. And I didn't think anything of it. And then I like had my video out to like I can run a pretty consistent speed and take a video. I do it all the fucking time. But I get like if you have a goal and someone's like in your way, you'd be annoyed. So I'm like taking a video and I hear him and he's like, she's taking videos and slowing us down. And I literally was like, are you fucking kidding me? And then I like saw it was an Achilles athlete. So I don't know. I'm sure there was some, thing going on. And I was like, all right, I'm taking it down a notch, Melissa. This guy's got a goal, disability. We got this. We can do this. And I let it go. But it was hard. It was hard to navigate that course in the first couple miles. And even, as I said, like even ongoing, it was a lot of like, maneuvering, I felt like. So if you're a runner and you walk, just put your hand up, go to the side, like we love you. Just get out of the fucking way. I walk. I do intervals all the time, but I make sure I'm on the side. I do not like stop right in front of someone. I do not try to walk with people like in a big line. Just be aware, right? Just be aware. Some people have a running goal. Some people and you can have a running goal and walk still, of course, but just be aware of other runners. So, and this is like I used to like pound that into kids when I was a running coach. When I did the running club at school, I was always like, this is how you operate with etiquette on a race course. I just wanted kids to know that, because kids are the fucking worst. If you've ever been at a race with kids, they like sprint and then like stop and you're like, ugh. So that was hard. So this was an exciting part of the course though, because it was an out and back. So I knew I had a couple friends that I really wanted to see, and one of them was my friend Liz, and she started in the corral behind me. So I was like, I bet I can see Liz. So I was like, my whole focus at this point was to see Liz at the out and back. So we did the little loop around, and then I saw her, I got a pic, and we went on our way. So it starts in Brooklyn, goes through the park a little bit, and then through Brooklyn. The most exciting part of the day, I would say, is the Brooklyn Bridge. This was the first New York Roadrunners race to ever run on the Brooklyn Bridge. It's never been on there, and the only reason it was this year was because of construction. So I don't know if this is an ongoing thing or what, but we felt really fucking lucky to be doing it. And that came in mile 4. So the crowds were great. Like there was so much energy. And now let's get back to the fundraising athletes. So I knew that there was a fundraising athletes. I just didn't know how big it would be, like how much of a world, like a world major marathon is with fundraising everywhere. And when I talk about fundraising, it is just so inspiring to look. I feel like emotional. To look and see all of these people running for something, running for awareness, running for research, running for loved ones that have been lost, running for Alzheimer's, and all of them, all of it. There's just something about being on a race course like it's just bigger. It's bigger than anything that you're doing out there. I know for me and all the fundraising that I've done, it just makes running so much more meaningful when it is going to a bigger cause, and to see everybody's shirts and what they're, running for and who they're out there for. And, on top of like the Achilles athletes who are out there with guides and, accomplishing these goals, even the guy who yelled at me for taking the video, it just gives it's just bigger. There's, you want to find faith in humanity, go to a marathon. And this was so much like a marathon, just with half the miles. It was so magical. So the Brooklyn Bridge was so exciting. We went over that, as I said, in mile 4-ish. And then we went like around a big turn, and then you go down the FDR for like miles, and it's cold because you're on the water, but it's so beautiful. Like all the boats, the buildings, the bridges, like everywhere. And the crowds were amazing because some areas they couldn't be there, like this big turn to the FDR, they couldn't be there, but you could hear them, and they were just on this like random place waving and cheering at us, even though they couldn't really be on the race course. Like the energy was just unreal. Then you come off and into Manhattan, and that reminded me of coming off into Manhattan from the New York City Marathon. You come off the bridge and you hear these cheers, and they just I just love big marathons so much, and I love the cheering. It gives me so much energy and hype, and I just loved every second. So you go through Manhattan, and we went past Grand Central, what was so cool. Um, there were so many aid stations. They had Gatorade, I think every mile, Gatorade and water. They did the Morton's hair gel fuels, which tastes like hair gel. It's sucking down unflavored hair gel. It's terrible, but they're great on your belly. So like give it to me. Just make sure it has caffeine. Um so then you go through Manhattan and you come around to Times Square, which is, as I said, Times Square is only closed 2 times a year, to this race and to New Year's Eve. And the energy in Times Square was so exciting. I had my most emotional moment, which I didn't really expect. It's not that I don't get emotional in half marathons. It's just they don't tend to hurt me physically as much as full marathons. And I do this shit for my kids. That's why I do it. It's why I started. To show them they can do anything and do hard things and do anything they set their mind to. And I mile 11 was right in front of the Pele soccer store in Times Square, which my kids always drag me to every single time we go to New York. And I just was so choked up at that spot. And honestly, the New York City Marathon, I got really choked up about my kids in Central Park, because that is a place that we always have enjoyed going together too. So that was super special. And the crowds were electric, and my splits, I swear to God, like I just went on fire at this point. I knew we were going to be coming down the road to Central Park. I knew, people had talked about it being hilly and to preserve some energy, but my splits were crazy in the last couple miles. I had a lot more in the tank, which I should have. My friends that we were walking with at the end of the race were like, they're like, we're so sore, and Melissa's like not even doesn't even seem phased. And I want to make it very clear that like that's not because I'm so fucking cool. It's because I'm training for a marathon, and I should have stuff left in the tank if I'm running a fucking marathon, right? Like that the half marathon is 13.1 miles. I'm up to mile 18 in my training, so I should feel fucking good after 13.1. So my splits were amazing the last couple miles. I was really impressed with them, and it was awesome. It was awesome. I ran into some other 169 friends who had just finished the race, who I heard Melissa on the course, and I was like, we took a picture and just kept it going. And I loved every fucking second. I really did. Got to the end. We got our medals, got our little heat wraps. I put my long sleeve shirt back on. I ended up taking it off. I don't even think I told you that. I took off my shirt like mile 1. I did put it back on the FDR because it got a little cold again, but then I took it off. So I wore the Fuck the Patriarchy. It was the one thing that I wasn't super excited about when it came from Etsy is that the lettering wasn't very distinct. And honestly, I am glad about that, because the people who saw it and liked it were like, yes. And maybe like the kids couldn't read fuck, I don't know. Not like I really care. Like fuck is just a word. There's nothing, we make it have a meaning that it doesn't have to have. And if you're here, I'm sure you're a swearer too, because the word fuck is in the title of the podcast. And if you don't like swearing, I don't know why you're here, but um so yeah, so I wore that and I loved that. The signs were great. My 2 favorite signs was, and I saw these a bunch at other marathons before, but you run better than the government. And then the other one that I loved was do it for Selena. One person had do it for Selena, and the other person next to them had Bitty Bitty Run Run, and I love Selena. So that was my favorite. That was probably my favorite sign of the day. But so many good ones, so many good ones. What time is it? Ad time. It's a celebration. What time is it? Ad time. Another one for me. So I am so excited. Starting April 1st, I am going to be bringing you my first group coaching program. It's called It's Your Effin' Breakthrough, and it's going to be a very deep dive approach to helping you unstick yourself. If you are ready to set boundaries, if you are ready to prioritize yourself and your mental health, if you're ready to prioritize your whatever journey you are trying to go on, maybe you don't know what your journey is yet. Maybe you need some help figuring that out. Maybe you really just feel a little lost. Maybe you feel like you've just been watching the news for 2 months and you want a fresh approach to your own life. Maybe you're stuck in a relationship. I don't know. We're going to come together as a group of women and support each other, and I'm going to give you all my best to get you moving forward. So starting April 1st, we are going to start. We end April 18th, and the program is going to cost $350, but I am offering 10 spots for my early birds for $250. So if you are ready to freaking go, if you're ready for a breakthrough, ready to prioritize yourself, ready to say fuck yes to your own life, let's do this. I'm going to put the link in the show notes, and I can't wait to see you April 1st. We're going to have an awesome time growing and learning and failing and supporting each other. I love you guys. See you soon. It's just so much support. It was the feel of a world major marathon in 13.1 miles. I cannot recommend it enough. If you have never done a half marathon, if you want to do a fucking awesome half marathon, if you are dying to get into the New York City Marathon, do this one. I mean, I'll enter all the lotteries, of course, but definitely do this one. I think I'm always going to be entering this lottery because here's the thing. It was so much less drama than the New York City Marathon. So that is literally why I think it's so great. You had all the feels of the big marathon with less miles and less drama. Like you can't beat that. So the medals are cute. They're okay, not like the best. And then, I waited for Emily to finish a couple minutes. She had like a very heroic story where she helped carry someone across the finish line who was struggling and had an injury. And like that is what the running community is all about. It's like helping each other. It's, being there for one another. It's encouraging each other. And I love it so much. So she finished, we went through the chute. We had to walk about 2 miles back to our hotel, but I always recommend walking as much as you can after a race, just so you flush that system out and it feels really good. And we got back to our hotel. Our hotel was so nice. They let us use the gym, which had a shower and a changing room. So I got to take a full shower, which I did not expect, got into clean clothes, and we made our way to Grand Central. I just made it on the 236 train to Rye, New York, picked up my car, and drove right home. Epic. It was a really, really, really epic weekend, and I'm glad that I am alive and finally fueled to tell you the story. So don't be dumb like me. Fuel your body, hydrate, don't do dumb shit, or do dumb shit. Just be smart about it and make sure that you sleep and fuel, because, a half marathon is no joke, and you don't want to go into it feeling so depleted. But I know, I mean, I'm confident in my body because I've done this a bunch of times. It just depends on where you're at with running, right? And you can't compare your journey to my journey because we may be at different places. Everybody starts somewhere and everyone is able to build up. So once you trust yourself more, maybe you'll be able to do stupid things like I do. But I don't recommend. I recommend lots of rest and hydration and food. But I also recommend signing up for this lottery when it comes out. I mean, the only thing that makes me so sad about it is that it's the same weekend as O Hartford, and I really was sad to miss O Hartford. I really, really love that race. I love all the O series that HMF does, but This one was so good. So freaking good. So hope you guys enjoyed this. If you like this episode, please take a screenshot and share it in your stories and tag me. And thanks so much for coming. Send this link to someone, send it to your running bestie. Maybe you guys can do this together next year. Maybe we can all do it and get a big hotel room and have so much fun. But thank you for being here, and I'll see you next week.